Mappers can't listen to music like sane people anymore. Whenever I hear a song now, I automatically think, how can I turn this into a map? So many of my maps started by listening to music on a drive, daydreaming about some really cool pattern, then getting home and putting that mental pattern into the editor. That's like the best feeling in mapping, being able to translate what's going on in your head into reality for other people to see. But I also consider how grocery store background music translates to mapping, so there are trade-offs. I have this disease because it's just how mapping works. Analyze a chunk of music, think about how you can represent it with circles and sliders and whatnot, and then do that. Repeat this loop a literal million times, and it's no wonder patterns come to mind automatically. Through making my own maps and reviewing other people's maps, I've come to associate object arrangements with every rhythm, genre, atmosphere, emotion, whatever a song can provide. And it's not just me. Seeing how this impacts the entire mapping scene is where things get interesting, so we'll start out easy here. Think about how you might represent this if you were making a map. If you didn't think of 1-2 jumps, there's something special about you. This is the most iconic rhythm in modern mapping. A bunch of the highest play count maps have it, and for years people have been seeking out songs with this rhythm just to use the pattern. But if Peppy were to pull the PP plug today and mappers were no longer incentivized to make jump farm maps anymore, I'd bet that a lot of people would still map this as 1-2 jumps. It's not the only way to map this rhythm, there's a lot of options, but it's the automatic response that mappers have because of constant repeated exposure. What mapping style do you think about when you hear Dragon Force? The answer might actually relate to how old you are. Popular plays like this, or this, or this, influence how someone in the current Osu era interprets Dragon Force's music. By just seeing this over and over, a new mapper is going to associate Dragon Force with continuous streams and spaced stream climaxes. You might have noticed weird difficulty settings in some Dragon Force maps though. These outliers use CS5 and AR8, and they often have distant snapped spacing rather than the usual big jumps. Before PP was even a thing, the mapper Lesja made a few iconic Dragon Force maps, some of the hardest maps in the game in like 2010, 2011. Those maps received attention just like some of those iconic PP plays, and in the same way, repeated exposure to Lesja's ways of mapping Dragon Force impacted how other mappers interpreted Dragon Force. That's why you'll see so many Dragon Force maps mimic this exact style. It's the way some older mappers envision Dragon Force to be mapped. So how would you map this? Sorry. The artist is the same, the rhythms are the same, but if you're like me, turning a song into Nightcore completely changes how I'd map it. Or rather, it changes what patterns come to mind, because I'm not going to map Nightcore. The mapper, Andrea, mapped enough Nightcore for all of us. He has 389 ranked maps as of when I'm recording this, more than any other mapper, and a lot of his early maps were Nightcore songs. You might have seen this video before. This is Andrea's map. Andrea is even mentioned in the Nightcore Wikipedia page. Needless to say, Andrea influenced how people interpret Nightcore music on Osu. His old maps are all structured around symmetry, and so when certain mappers hear Nightcore music, this is what we think of. Meanwhile, if you're a new mapper, you might associate Nightcore with a lot of jump maps like these, so in the future, maybe these will be as influential as Andrea was back then. This is the darkest place I have. So far I've talked about how rhythm, artist, and genre influence mapping trends. Trends alone can't cover the full picture here though. When the two of us listen to the same song, the mental object arrangements you come up with are different than mine because we each have individual experiences that influence us. That's why I'm showing you this. It's a clip of me over 10 years ago explaining to basically nobody how I got an impressively bad score on a certain map. I'll leave a link below. This map had one pattern I just could not play, this spaced 1/4 rhythm. I was a new player at the time, and I thought there was some sort of conspiracy thing going on here, because this difficulty, the one I'm complaining about, had this evil pattern. Also, Skystar's difficulty did, and the RLC NyQuil collab difficulty, and even the host's difficulty, Natsume Rin's. Maybe this was a common mapping technique at the time, maybe it was just a coincidence, or maybe Natsume Rin, using this pattern in a bunch of their other maps, influenced the guest difficulty creators to put it in their own difficulties, the same way Lesja and Andrea influenced Dragon Force and Nightcore. That's a bit of a stretch, but the reason itself doesn't matter in this case. I'm talking about this pattern because it's something that stood out to me in relation to this song when I was an impressionable new player and mapper. And that experience continues to impact how I imagine object arrangements. When I hear similar songs to this, I automatically think of these spaced 1/4 triples. Every mapper has experiences that, consciously or not, influence how they view mapping. And I think that's pretty cool. Thanks for watching.